Hello everyone, my name is Pinkulia and welcome to Escape from the Princess. This is a visual novel developed by Salamandra88 about a girl who wishes to be a magician who ends up meeting a witch being chased by the princess, and they ask in help of escaping from the princess. And I might be biased, but she is beautiful, and I love how my mouse is a sakura petal flower. I love that there's animations on the title screen. This is all looking very promising. I love the design of this girl. And again, biased because pink hair, but pink hair is amazing if I do say so myself. So with all that being said, I praise the developer for the title screen and everything. Let's start the game and see what happens. Oh, and it sparkles when you hover over the options. I like that a lot. That's cool. I wake up bright and early today. Feeling kinda down, I lay in bed for a few moments while staring blankly at the ceiling. Not that there's anything to stare at, I'm just trying to distract myself from what happened yesterday. Once again, I try to pass the entrance exam to the Academy of Magic to become an elemental mage, but I failed miserably. As always. Though, unlike before, I didn't just fail this time, I was almost thrown out the door. Jesus. What did you do to get thrown out the door? Well, almost get thrown out the door. What kind of people treat an innocent girl like that? So what if I accidentally summoned a tentacled monster in that barrel instead of a flower? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can see why you would get thrown out. It's not like it was the end of the world, was it? The committee, which mostly consists of older witches, was quite unhappy with my results. Remembering their outraged screams, I wince. Although, to be fair, when one of the monster's tentacles slipped under my skirt, I squealed just as loudly as those old ladies. Oh, it's one of those visual novels. But still, that's no reason to so cruelly kick me out. I mean, I think they had plenty of reason. I unconsciously scratched my bottom, which is still bruised from yesterday. Well, it's not surprising considering how I was so rudely pushed out the door and tossed down on my bum. What a pain that was. I thought my tailbone had broken. Sighing heavily, I reach into the pile of clothes lying on the floor next to my bed. Begrudgingly, I slowly dress myself as I look around the room. Yes, let us look around the room. Look at this artwork. It is fabulous. I love all the colors and all the detail, and if you haven't noticed, the little dust particles, they're actually moving around, so it's actually animated too. Like these ones are moving around over here, these ones are moving around over here. This is wonderfully done. My room is a mess. Not that I care. Well, if this is a mess to you, you probably shouldn't look in my room. If I can't become an elemental mage, then what's the point of doing anything at all, let alone clean my room? My life is over! Wow, what a drama queen. Who in this state of mind would be thinking about dusting and tidying up? I glance over all the magical artifacts, regents, and books I spent my money on. I don't know if I actually said that word correctly. But that's not new here. We all know that I can't speak English. Sorry guys, seems we're not meant to be. Approaching my shelves, I begin to sort through the different trinkets I'd collected over the years. Goodbye, magic staff, even though you'd never been more than a useless stick in my hands. Farewell, Rain Summoning Crystal, which I bought on sale for 99.9 copper coins. Farewell, lucky rabbits, but although you hadn't helped me with anything at all. Suddenly my stomach begins to growl treacherously, interrupting the tragic moment. I immediately return the Encyclopedia of Magic Creatures, which I'd been meaning to say goodbye to as well, back to its place on the shelf. Tragedy is, of course, good, but breakfast is even better. I think I should have time later to say farewell to the rest of the magical items that I doubt I'll ever use. I briskly walk towards the stairs that lead down to the kitchen. I wonder if there's any food left. Once in the kitchen, I immediately begin searching the cupboard for something to eat. Again, this looks really nice, but like, why is there cobwebs? There's cobwebs here, there's a spider web there. Like, if you live here, and there's food on the ground, why is there cobwebs if you live here? There shouldn't be like cobwebs here or here of all places, and you put dishes up there. That doesn't make sense. But I do still like the art here. It's really nice. I like it a lot still. Fabulous. But there's nothing edible left. Well, there's some eggplants. Is that what those are? There's some pumpkins. You could like take out the pumpkin seeds and like roast them over your fire. Well, it figures. You need to buy groceries to have food to eat. And how would I buy them if I spent all my money on now useless magical trinkets that I needed for my studies? You have absolutely zero talent for magic, just deal with it. Forget about the academy and occupy yourself with something simpler, something that even you can do. But what if I don't want to just deal with it and move on? Shouldn't you always follow your dreams? If it's so easy to give up on something that you've wished for with all your heart, then what's the point in continuing on? Frustrated, I kick a bucket of dirty dishes, then look around again. If you need to think like a criminal to catch one, then to find food, I need to think like food? What does food even think about? Surely it would think to hide away in a dark corner to avoid being eaten. Although that's kind of selfish of it, food's purpose is to fill one's belly. Like mine, for example. I wonder if the nook under the table would be a good hiding place for it. I guess I'll take a look. Without hesitation, I dive under the table and start fumbling around in search of something. Anything edible. Luckily, my perseverance is rewarded. I feel something round and smooth, and pulling it out from under the table, I see that it's an apple. Or something resembling one, at least. It's a bit soft and oddly enough covered in suspicious gray spots, but more importantly, it's food! I quickly wipe it against my clothes, sit down at the table, and begin gnawing away at the unappetizing fruit. Kinda gross how you can't wash it off, but I notice a lack of a sink on your counters, so I guess you couldn't really wash it off if you wanted to. Unless you had like a basket like right here, and then you could go down to the river and get water in, and then you could wash it off, because that was just on your floor, and yeah, that's kinda gross. It tastes no better than it looks, so I try to imagine that I'm eating a tasty cake with pink frosting instead. I like how this girl thinks. Pink frosting with gray sprinkles. Ew. While I'm chewing and wondering how the suspicious apple will affect my stomach later on, I hear a commotion coming from the street. And I listen. To the screams of bystanders, the sound of approaching hooves. It seems something is happening again in our troublesome district. Stuffing the remains of the apple into my mouth, I lean out the window. Wow, are those guardsmen? Wow. Is that girl even wearing a top? No, she's not. It's like a little vest that's not even secured. How is that covering anything? Well, I mean, clearly it's not, but you know. They have those lazy Now, have those lazy bums finally decided to do their jobs? Something tells me no. I watch as mounted soldiers chase a girl in a raincoat. By the looks of her, she must be from the Eastern Kingdom. We don't often see Easterners in these lands. The girl obviously has no clue of the shopping district's layout. Frantically looking around, she slips into the first alleyway. Boop! That's a dead end! Should have gone down the other street. Is she a thief? Or maybe a murderer? I wonder why our brave defenders of the law and order are after her? I lean out the window a little more, trying to catch what the guards are saying, but I still can't understand them. I can only hear snatches of what they're saying. Capture her! She went that way! I'm tempted to go down for a first review of the action, but then the girl runs back out of the alley, down the road, and almost under the hooves of the ostentatiously decorated guard horses. I told you it was a dead end. This is it. If she isn't crushed by the horses, the guardsmen will definitely catch her. Barely avoiding getting trampled, the girl suddenly stops. What are you doing? Run! I know perfectly well that she can't hear my cry from way up here, but I can't help myself. And just when I think it's all over for her, the fugitive pulls out a small pouch from the folds of her clothing. What clothing? And throws a handful of powder into the air. It flashes and turns into a purple smoke before completely obscuring the girl from sight. Ooh, pretty. Oh, that's amazing! It's not every day you see action like this in the middle of the market square. When the smoke finally clears, it's apparent that the fugitive has gone with it. Realizing that their prey has escaped, the soldiers begin to anxiously search the area. Search every nook and cranny! Find her! Whoa! That wasn't any ordinary girl! I love the effects in here, that's so cool. It's so cute! Things are getting interesting. There are only a few magic users in town, few enough that they could be counted on one hand. Well, no. Perhaps both hands and feet. Still, it's not many. 20 isn't many. And I don't recall any of them looking anything like that witch. A feeling of envy begins to draw over me. Not that I want to be in her place, but the way she so adeptly used her magic to escape the soldiers, that only serves to remind me of my own magical inadequacies. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a little of her magic. I would hope the soldiers don't get her. There are a few mages left in the world, and they need to be protected. And those bloody marionettes? Marionettes? Is that what that's supposed to be? Like, 'cause they're just puppets of the kingdom, maybe? Insist on cutting off their heads over nonsense, frying witches at the stake. Frying, and now I'm thinking about a barbecue. Which whets my appetite even more. Hungrily, I continue watching out the window in an attempt to distract my growling stomach. The captain of the guard gives the orders, and they begin to immediately fuss about. The mounted soldiers take off in different directions, most likely looking for the witch down neighboring streets, while the foot patrols begin searching nearby houses. How naive, the fugitive is probably halfway to the Eastern Kingdom by now. Deciding that the excitement is now over, I pull back from the window. I have nowhere to go. I'm not welcome at the academy anymore. I lost my job, and still haven't looked for a new one yet. Hoping to find something to do, I start looking around again. This day will never end if I don't find a way to kill some time. Perhaps I should clean some of this mess? At least wash the dishes? How? You have no sink! What am I thinking? I really am going mad with despair, aren't I? But before I could decide what to do, I hear suspicious rustling coming from the fireplace. I listen closely, but I don't hear it again. Am I hearing things? Oh, I just knew my poor nutrition would lead to trouble. I bet those gray spots on that apple were to blame. Turning away from the fireplace, I sit back down at the table and begin inspecting a stain on the tablecloth, which is shaped almost like a map of our kingdom. Well, it sort of looks like its shape anyway. I'm about to outline the stain with a pencil when I hear rustling from the fireplace again. The sound is now louder and more pronounced, and seems to be coming from the chimney. There's something there. I glance out the window to make sure that it is indeed still summer, that I shouldn't be expecting any guests from down the chimney. Black soot starts to rain down into the fireplace as something wiggles inside the chimney above. What the hell is this? I hardly call my home clean, but this is too much. Did a bird get stuck up there and now is trying to get out? That's just what I need. Or though, on the other hand, if it's a nice, fat, clumsy pigeon, I might be eating lunch today. I love fat pigeons. Oh my god, her face is so cute. Encouraged by the thought, I excitedly look up into the chimney. But it's too dark, and I can barely see anything. What's worse, soot keeps falling down into my face and into my eyes. And then I suddenly hear a yelp from above. Ah, I'm falling! I better move. I don't get very far when something falls down into the fireplace and lands in a cloud of black soot. Oops. I fell down. That something bears a suspicious resemblance to the witch that the guards were chasing. Upon closer inspection, yes, it's definitely her. Rather, a dirtier version of her. Seeing me, the witch immediately puts a finger to her lips. Though she doesn't need to ask, I'm so dumbfounded by her sudden appearance that my brain has completely shut down. All I can manage right now is staring blankly at her, blinking in shock. Realizing that I have no intention of alerting the guards, the girl sighs in relief. Then looks around and wrinkles her nose. Ew, what a mess you have here. Upon hearing her comment, I immediately shoot back in righteous indignation. Not only does this cheeky stranger burst into my home uninvited, but she has the nerve to insult my humble abode. Of course, it's true that it's a mess, but she could extend me a little courtesy considering I'm harboring a fugitive. Hey, what are you doing? I didn't invite you in. The witch stands up and begins to nonchalantly brush herself off, raising a cloud of soot around her. It almost looks like this is how she usually pays visits. But I don't have time to wait for her to answer when someone knocks at the door. The witch immediately freezes and stares at the door as if she were trying to see who's behind it. There's another impatient knock at the door, and a hefty sound is surely being made by an iron glove of one of the guard's large fists. My guest folds her hands in a pleading gesture, begging me not to turn her over. Despite the fact that she dared comment on my messy house, I can't bring myself to hand the witch over to the guards. Open the door, now! It's the town watch! Needing to stall for time as my uninvited guest hides herself, I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. You have the wrong address. There aren't any guards here. This is private property. Open up! Why are you so persistent? Look for your own town watch elsewhere, I'm telling you. This is a private house, not the barracks. I hear a loud cursing from behind the door. Ouch, how rude of them to call girls such nasty things. If you don't open this door right now, we'll burst in. Shoot. This is just great. Turning to the witch, I notice that she's already crawled beneath the table, covered with a long tablecloth. There are much better hiding places, but it'll do. I hope there's enough room with all the books and rejection letters I've shoved under there. Hearing the guard now counting down, I quickly interject before they kick the door down. Hold on, I got it. I'm opening up now. No need to bust down the door, I still have some use for it. The counting immediately stops and I unlatch the bolt. But before I have time to open the door, it's flung wide open and a whole group of soldiers bursts into the room. Well, don't they look intimidating? And this is also a good time to pause because I am out of time. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video.